Hello everyone, REM here, and welcome back to another episode of Wild and Weird. These episodes are now going to be happening every other Wednesday, just because I'm only one person. I'm trudging through my master's thesis right now, and I need to be a little bit more flexible with my time. So from here on out, every other Wednesday will be the norm. Today, we are going to talk about cuttlefish, a cephalopod much like squid or octopi, and I feel like cuttlefish are not as well known as those other tentacled cousins. Octopi especially are very well known for being intelligent, they're able to camouflage, they're very unique, and they'll definitely be getting their own episode, either for Wild and Weird, or maybe a larger draw and discuss about animal intelligence overall, but I feel like cuttlefish kind of get left behind because of this big shadow that their more famous relative casts. Cuttlefish, just like their cousins, are very cool, very weird, and very smart. And they also have the added bonus of, in my opinion, being even cuter. Much like octopi and many species of squid, cuttlefish are able to change both the color and texture of their skin for camouflage, defense displays, and even for confusing their prey as they approach them. Sometimes they'll extend their arms and create this hypnotic display to confuse and stun their prey so they can get right up there and grab them, which is really cool and very alien. Cuttlefish also have very developed eyes and visual systems, and they have very interesting pupils that are sort of a W clover type shape that actually enhances the way that they're able to see. Cuttlefish can't see in color, which you might find confusing because they can camouflage in color, but what they actually see is the difference between polarized and non-polarized light, which is not something humans can do at all. We need specialized cameras to see those differences for ourselves. Sometimes you can use different sunglass types to see if glass is polarized or non-polarized, but really, polarized light is something that humans cannot even comprehend on our own visually. But for cuttlefish, that's just their day-to-day vision, and it actually helps them understand the contrast between different lights, shapes, and colors completely differently than the way mammals do it. This means that when researchers test cuttlefish with visual cognitive tasks, they perform really well. Like, to a degree that was shocking for many scientists and for people in non-science fields, because when you think of an invertebrate, an animal without a backbone, you think of a lesser organism for the most part. They're not a mammal, they don't even have a spine, they live in the ocean. What is that animal really doing? Well, it turns out they're doing a lot of really impressive visual and cognitive tasks every single day just to survive. A very interesting and very adorable fun fact I myself just learned is that cuttlefish eyes actually fully develop before they're even out of the egg, so they can look around before they're even technically born, and the prey animals that they see while they're in the egg are more likely to be the prey animals that they prefer as an adult. Cuttlefish also share some strange commonalities with their cephalopod cousins, like the ability to squirt ink when they're scared in order to confuse and blind predators, and a sharp beak in between all those tentacles that they use to bite, crush, and eat their food. Something completely unique to cuttlefish are the cuttle bones. Other cephalopods, other than the beak, they're completely squishy. There's nothing going on in there, no bones, nothing. These are all invertebrates, so none of them have a spine or backbone, but cuttlefish have a cuttle bone, which is a sort of internal shell, because cephalopods are mollusks, like snails, clams, slugs, things like that, and the cuttlefish retain that shell, except it's on the inside now. And you may have seen this around if you have exotic pets, because they are often used as calcium supplements for things like domestic birds, parrots, hermit crabs, tortoises, things like that. because this bone is actually very soft and it has a chalky texture, so a lot of animals benefit from chewing on it and getting that calcium. One last cuttlefish topic, which is my favorite, is that these animals can be really sneaky when it comes to romance. Now, for the normal cuttlefish, the way reproduction works is that the biggest, most dominant and aggressive males control an area where a lot of females exist, and that dominant male gets to mate with all of those females. So smaller and weaker males, they get kicked out and they don't get a chance to breed. Unless they're sneaky about it. During the breeding season, male and female cuttlefish look differently. They flare different colors, they have different tentacle lengths, and so cuttlefish can tell who is who based on what they look like. But, like I mentioned earlier, cuttlefish can change color and texture. So what some males will do is they'll camouflage to look like a female, get in right under the metaphorical nose of the dominant male, and sneakily mate with some of the females while completely disguised as a female himself. This means that with every batch of new baby cuttlefish, there are some that come from the genetics of the big, brawny, beefy males, and some that come from the genetics of the smaller, weaker, but smarter males, meaning that both aspects continue to thrive in the cuttlefish gene pool. Overall, cuttlefish are adorable, intelligent, and really vibrant and interesting animals that I feel are overshadowed by their more famous cephalopod cousin. I'll definitely be talking about these animals more in an animal intelligence video, since some of the research done with them to determine their cognitive abilities are really, really interesting. So plan on seeing a little bit more of the cuttlefish in the future, but for now, remember that these little guys exist, and remember that that should make you smile.